Practical effects can be amazing when done right, and generally are much more believable than a lot of high-budget CGI. But without a harsh critical eye on set, they can quickly go wrong, and the movie is left with a sometimes comical scene. So with that in mind, here are some of the worst ever practical effects. Start with puppets. If you're going to replace a main character or animal with a puppet and not expect us to notice, it better be a flipping good one. Which wasn't the case in Night of the Demon, where the supposed panther attacking Dr. John Holden looks more like a fluffy leopard toy. In fact, actor Dana Andrews even lifts its head for a second in a terribly unconvincing attempt to add a bit of life to the creature. But an even more lifeless puppet example is in Jaws 3D, where the terrifying marionette viciously attacks the protagonists by floating along through a glass panel. But it's not just low-budget B-movies that erred away from using bad puppets. Take RoboCop, for example. Okay, back in the day when CGI was just GI, stop animation was a big thing and audiences barely noticed. Nowadays, CGI has gotten so good that we wouldn't settle for choppy animation. But despite the passable ED-209, the production team went one step too far. Rather than having actor Ronnie Cox pretend to fall on a green screen, they decided to make a puppet and animate that on a green screen. A badly proportioned puppet with weirdly long arms. This terrible decision pretty much ruins the end of a classic movie. Similarly to puppets, mannequins have also ruined many a dramatic scene in movies. Take Vertigo, for example. When Scotty witnesses Madeline fall to her death, we see the obvious use of a mannequin, completely destroying the dramatic scene and making it almost comical. A similar thing happens in The Fugitive, where the production team went as far as to place Harrison Ford at the right edge of the dam, with a hidden harness of course, just to capture the realism. And then they go and throw off a naff mannequin. At the end of the day, the one thing differentiating a stunt double, mannequin or puppet from the actual actor is the face. This is where masks come into play, and are unnoticeable when done right. But when done wrong, like for example in Total Recall, where it jerks you out of the story with the finesse of an ejector seat. Why they didn't just use Arnie under that prop is a mystery. You'd have thought they would have learnt from the Terminator. Another example is in Spookies, where they used a deflatable mannequin with a realistic face to ram home the concept of the giant spider woman sucking out all of the victim's blood. Some movies are just so riddled with bad effects that it's too hard to pinpoint just one. Troll 2, for example, is so laughably bad that it has a cult following of being one of the best bad movies ever. It's almost on a level pegging with Samurai Cop, arguably the worst film ever. Here, we have a classic moment where the practical effects are reminiscent of a school production. A mannequin's arm, the guy's arm clearly tucked into his shirt, and look how thin the weird stump is. Please give us a like if you enjoyed this compilation of the worst practical effects. Also be sure to let us know in the comments if there are any movies that we missed. And as always, you can catch us behind the next one.